Start.
Good morning. Today we are going to discuss an experiment on refrigeration system. So as you already know, refrigeration is a phenomenon of maintaining a body temperature lower than its surrounding. Okay, so we are doing it by removing the heat from a body. Okay, so how to remove the heat from a body? It is by using a refrigeration system. Okay, we are going to use a typical working medium called as a refrigerant, using which the refrigerant is made to flow through various systems, various components in a given system. Thereby, it will reduce the heat from a body, such that the body will get cooled down. So this is a basic phenomenon that we come across in a refrigeration phenomenon. So now, moving on, in general we are having different types of refrigeration systems, out of which in domestic refrigerators we are going to use a VCR refrigeration system. So the apparatus what you are seeing or what we are using in a lab, it is basically a domestic refrigerator. So as you already know, in a VCR system there are basically 4 different components we are going to use. Yes, sir. Okay, so there are 4 components in a VCR system. To begin with, the first one is called as evaporator. So in a evaporator, the refrigerant is made to flow through a bundle of tubes. So this one is what is called as evaporator. It is written here as chiller, but in general it is a evaporator. So in this, the fluid what we are supposed to cool is going to be placed. You can see here inside it there is a water. So our aim of the experiment here is to cool down the water. And inside this you can see the coil, circular coil is being placed into which the refrigerant is made to flow. Okay, so as we already know, refrigerant point liquid which is circulated inside the tube such that as it flows through the tube, it will grab the heat from the water. So thereby the energy is going to be transferred from water to the refrigerant such that the refrigerant will get evaporated. Since this phenomenon occurs in this evaporator, we call it as evaporator. So phenomenon of evaporation occurs here for the refrigerant, so it is called as a evaporator. In general, we call it as chiller. So this is the first component of the VCR system. So the second component is called as compressor. So the vapor form of the refrigerant, after passing over the evaporator, it is now made to flow through into the compressor. So this is what is our compressor. I hope there are different types of compressors. We can use any of them. Generally, we are going to use centrifugal compressors. Okay. So inside the compressor, the phenomenon is the vapor form of the refrigerant having low pressure is made to get compressed. Thereby, its pressure will be increased. So in a compressor, in general, the vapor form of the refrigerant will get compressed to a very high pressure. So while entering into the compressor, the pressure will be noted down. The pressure will be noted down, which is a low pressure. So the refrigerant, before it enters into the compressor, we are going to note down the pressure reading here. We call it as low pressure for the refrigerant. Then after being compressed, the pressure of the refrigerant will get increased to a very high pressure, which again we are going to note down by one more pressure gauge. We call it as high pressure gauge. Please note the 2 pressures what we are measuring, we are going to measure them with a unit kg per centimeter square. So there are so many calibrations in this gauge, so we are going to go for kg per centimeter square. Okay, now the high pressure vapor form of the refrigerant, after passing over the compressor, it is now made to move to the next component of the system. We call it as a condenser. You can see here, this is a heat exchanger. Okay, as the name says, in the condenser, the condensation of the refrigerant occurs. So the vapor form of the refrigerant having very high pressure is made to flow through a bundle of tubes. You can see here there are bundle of tubes, okay, inside this heat exchanger where the high pressure refrigerant is made to flow through. Thereby, the vapor form of the refrigerant will slowly get converted into saturated liquid. Okay, since the conversion of phase from vapor to liquid is occurring in this heat exchanger, we call it as condenser. So the energy which is lost by the refrigerant in the condenser is going to be expelled to the atmosphere. So just behind this condenser, we have a condenser fan which will be operated using the condenser fan here. This during the experimentation. Thereby, the air is made to flow across the tubes of the heat exchanger. That is condenser. And the refrigerant is made to flow into the tubes. So energy exchanges between the refrigerant and the air, thereby the refrigerant will get condensed from vapor form to the saturated liquid form. Note that during this phenomenon, the pressure of the refrigerant will be held constant. Okay, ideally speaking. Okay. Now, once the condensation occurs for the refrigerant, it will be in the form of saturated liquid, but it is at a high pressure. Now, to make it to come back to the evaporator for the next cycle, we need to reduce its pressure. So, for that reason, we are going to make use of the fourth component of a refrigeration system. We call it as an expansion device. In general, in a refrigerator, we are going to come across different types of expansion devices, out of which in this apparatus we have been provided with two different types of expansion devices. One is called as a capillary tube and the other one is called as solenoid hole. We can make use of any one of these two at a time and we can run the apparatus, so that the high pressure refrigerant which is coming from the condenser is now made to flow into the capillary tube, provided to make it this capillary tube on and make it off. Okay. Initially, we are going to conduct the experiment for capillary tube. You can see here the typical characteristic of a capillary tube. It's a very long tube having a very thin diameter or very small diameter. So the refrigerant is made to flow through a smaller diameter pipe for a longer distance. Thereby, the expansion of the refrigerant occurs. That is how we are going to reduce the pressure of the refrigerant. So while entering into the expansion device called as capillary tube, the pressure of the refrigerant will be very high. Okay, but it is at saturated liquid state. But as it passes through the capillary tube, it will be reduced to a low pressure. Again, maintaining in the same state, that is saturated liquid state. So, and finally, after passing over the expansion device, it will be low pressure, low temperature, liquid form of the refrigerant. So that will finally come back to the evaporator, where it will again pass through the tube inside the evaporator. It will flow through and again it will grab the heat from the water. So like this, the cycle will be continuously, the different components in sequence, completing various cycles. Thereby, the chilling of the water occurs. This is what is the main objective of the experimentation. So here we are supposed to cool the water to a very, very low temperature with respect to the surrounding. So here cooling phenomenon is going to be done. So what we do here is we are going to take some known amount of water and we are supposed to cool it to a required temperature. Okay, now having studied with the working phenomenon of a VCR system, now let us understand how do we conduct the experiment. What all the readings we are going to take down during the conduction of this experiment. So as we already got to know during the principle of working, see, before the start of the test, now we need to note down the temperature of the water before it is being cooled. So the temperature of the water is being noted down now. What's my question? Using this temperature now. Using this temperature now. We can rotate the temperature, this knob like this, so that we can measure the various temperatures at different points in the cycle. Start of the test. Okay, we are supposed to note down what is the initial temperature of the water before it is being cooled. So here the temperature, you can see here T5, it represents chilled water. So this T5 we are going to note down before we start with the experiment. Okay, that is T5. Now how about these remaining temperatures T1 to T4? T1 represents compressor inlet temperature. T1 represents, now if I switch on to this T1, then T2 represents compressor outlet temperature. As it enters into the compressor, what is the temperature? After coming from the compressor, what is the temperature? T2. Then similarly, after getting condensed inside the condenser, what is the temperature of the refrigerant? That is our T3. Then T4 is, as the refrigerant passes through the expansion device, as expansion happens, the temperature of the refrigerant will also come down. So what is the temperature after expansion? It is noted as T4. It is noted as T4. We are basically noting down 5 different temperatures. I repeat again, before the start of the experiment, we will note down first T5, which is the initial temperature of the water. Then we will start with the experimentation. We will conduct the experiment, say, for 45 minutes of duration. So the experiment will be run for 45 minutes. The refrigerant is continuously made to flow through all these different components in a cycle. Thereby, after 45 minutes, we will come to know that the water which is there inside this, it will get cooled down. It will get cooled down in such a way, its temperature will be reduced. So, after 45 minutes, we shall take down the readings. So, what are the readings that we need to take down? We need to take down these 5 temperatures. Out of which, the first 4 are the temperatures of the refrigerant at different points. And the last one, T5, it represents the final temperature of the water after getting cooled. This of temperature needs to be noted down. Okay. Then we also should note down the 2 pressure readings. The low pressure reading before the refrigerant entering into the compressor. Then the second one is high pressure reading, that is after being compressed, what is the temperature pressure of the refrigerant, that should also be noted down. So low pressure and high pressure readings are noted down with the unit kg per centimeter square. And later on in our calculations, we shall convert this into bar so that our further calculations. Okay, so 2 pressure readings and 5 temperatures that are very important before we start with the calculations. To know how much is the power being consumed by this compressor during this 45 minutes of test. So we have been provided with the energy meter. So what we do is, once we can see the blinking of the light in this. So that represents how much energy is getting consumed for every second or for every minute, like that. So what we do during this conduction of test, so what we do is for 5 blinks, how much time it will take. For 5 blinks to happen, how much time will be taken, that we will be noting down. This is one more reading which is supposed to be taken before we start with the calculations. Okay, so as usual, again, just to have an idea about the power consumption and how much is the electricity supplied, we can also note down the voltage reading as well as the ammeter reading. Though they are not being of the calculations, we can just, okay, pause. Last one. So finally, to conclude with the experimentation, what we do is, we take 5 readings of temperature, 2 readings of pressures, low pressure reading, high pressure reading, then we also take down the time taken for 5 blinks. So these are most important readings that we are required with for the calculations to get to know how effectively this refrigerator is working. So we are going to determine the various coefficients of performance based on the conduction of this experiment. Okay, now by experimentation, we have taken down so many readings which we can tabulate in this format. You can see here, as I already told you, there are 2 different types of expansion devices we are using. The one which I explained is about capillary tube, and the same way you can conduct the experiment making use of solenoid valve. So let me explain you about the readings that are taken for capillary tube. As you can see, we have noted down the values of voltmeter, ammeter readings. Then for our calculations, the most important parameters are these many. So as I told, we are going to note down the values of low pressure value and high pressure value in terms of kg per centimeter square. Then along with that, we are supposed to note down at various points in the refrigeration system, we should note down the refrigerant temperatures at different points. As I already explained, T1 to T4, they are the temperatures of the refrigerant at different points in the refrigeration system. So they are noted down like this. So you can see here, T1 is 6.6 has come, and T2 after getting compressed, temperature gets increased. You can see the variation here, 76.2. Then T3 after getting condensed, it is again reduced. Cooling will occur, so 52.9. Then thereafter, the refrigerant is passed to the expansion device. So again expansion occurs, temperature gets reduced. So at the end of the cycle, you will be having the temperature something like 7.4. Okay, so initially we will be taking down the temperature of water, so that will be taken down, and after 45 minutes of time, please note, after 45 minutes of time, finally again we take down the reading of T5, which is the temperature of the water at the chilled water, you can say. Okay, at the end of the experimentation, the final temperature of water, you can say, it is now come down to 9.3. So maybe before the experiment, we will be having a temperature say around 27 or 28, like at room temperature for water. Then after cooling effect, we can see the temperature reduction, 9.3. Okay. Then finally, so to calculate how much is the power consumption, we are going to make use of energy meter reading. Say for 5 blinks as I told, how much time it will be taking down. So that comes out to be 10.13 seconds. Okay, so this reading is also very important. So for our calculation, we need to note down LP, HP, 5 temperatures and the energy meter reading. Okay, and one more thing along with that. Same way you can even conduct the experiment for solenoid valve and you can note down the readings like this. Okay, that is the second part of the experimentation. Okay, now moving on, as we told, the refrigerant is a main important topic, fluid in this cycle. So the refrigerant that we are using is referred as R134A. So this is the coding that we give for different refrigerants. So please remember this. Okay, it is R134A is the refrigerant being used. And the duration of test which we conduct is for about 45 minutes. Then the energy meter which is given to us, it is having some constant which is given by this much. 3200 revolutions will occur per kilowatt hour of energy being consumed. So this is a constant value. And we also know, since our aim is to cool down the water, the specific heat of the water is taken as 4.187 kilojoules per kg Kelvin. Now with all these readings in mind being taken down for our calculations, let us start with the calculations. Okay. In general, in this experiment, we are trying to measure how effectively the refrigeration is occurring, or this refrigeration system is how effectively it is performing. That is what is supposed to be understood. For that, we are going to calculate a term called as COP. As you already know, COP stands for coefficient of performance. So here we are going to calculate series of COPs. Take for example, to begin with, we are going to calculate initially theoretical COP, theoretical value of coefficient of performance. So by definition, it is given by the enthalpies, that is H1 minus H4 divided by H2 minus H1. So H1 minus H4 is nothing but it is the energy that is being gained by the refrigerant, okay, as it flows into the evaporator. And H2 minus H1 is the energy which is being consumed or for the compressor to compress the refrigerant. So in general, the COP is defined as the refrigerating effect to that of the work input. So here when we say theoretical COP, we are expressing the same COP formula in terms of enthalpies. That is the only change. But the basic definition remains the same. It is the refrigerating effect to that of work input. So the refrigerating effect in general, theoretically it is given by H1 minus H4 and the compressor work input is given by H2 minus H1. So here these enthalpies we are actually going to take down by referring the pH chart. I will tell you after a couple of minutes how to read the pH chart to get the values of all the enthalpies. So by reading the chart, you can enter the values of enthalpies and we will come to know that the COP theoretical will comes out to be say around 3. So this is the first parameter for theoretical COP. Now the second one, so if the refrigeration cycle is completely an ideal one, if all the processes that take place in a refrigerator of all are ideal process, then the cycle becomes a Carnot cycle. It is called as Carnot refrigerator. Okay, so if this acts as a Carnot refrigerator, then how much it is performing? If at all if you want to know, then we calculate again COP, we call it as Carnot COP. Okay, so again Carnot COP is given by this relation, which you might have studied already in your applied thermodynamics. You have derived this relation, which is given by T1 divided by T2 minus T1. I hope you have already noted down the temperatures T1 and T2. So these are in degree Celsius. Convert them in degree Kelvin and then substitute here and get the values of COP Carnot. Okay, that is the second calculations. Then coming on, now since we are working in reality with the refrigeration system, it is our duty to calculate what is the actual performance of this refrigeration system. So we calculate that using this COP actual. So by definition, it is given by refrigerating effect to that of work input. So here Q stands for refrigerating effect. It is nothing but it is the energy being lost by the water which is getting cooled. So the energy being lost by the water, you can see this. It is being calculated by a simple formula mCp delta T. Okay, so this much is the energy being lost by the water, thereby it is getting cooled. So m stands for it is the mass of the water which will be known to us, and Cp is the Cp of the water. Then Tf, what is this Tf? Tf is nothing but it is the final temperature of the water after conducting the test, which is nothing but you can see here T5. So this is the final temperature 9.3. Okay. Then Ti is nothing but initial temperature of the water before it was cooled. So before the start of the experiment I told we are noting down T5 again, right? So that T5 is our Ti and this T5 is our Tf. So difference in temperature will give us the how much is the energy being lost by the water. That is nothing but Q. Now to calculate W work input for the compressor, we have a standard relation. Using this, we can calculate the work input, which is given by N into 3600 divided by T into EMC. Please note here N stands for, it is the number of impulses. So for our test, we are taking down 5 impulses. So for 5 impulses, how much time it takes? Small t. That is already noted down. Say it is around 10.13 seconds. So that t value you are taking down for how many impulses? It is for 5 impulses. So use this, an energy meter constant, it is already known to us. Use it and calculate the value of work input. So that is the actual work input that is required by the compressor to remove this much of heat from the water. So using these two calculations, we finally enter them and we can finally calculate how much is the actual performance of this refrigeration system in terms of COP. Then once these three are done, the last calculation what we do is relative COP, which is by definition it is given as it is the ratio of actual COP to that of theoretical COP. Since you already calculated theoretical COP and actual COP, just take the ratio of them, you will get to know what is the relative COP, okay, of this particular VCR system.